Hello friends, welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, hi, my name is Elizabeth and this is The Joyful Sojourn, a community of people that love stationery and planning and doing things creatively on paper. And if that sounds like your kind of community, I hope you'll consider subscribing to my channel. One thing that I do every fall, this might be my third or fourth year, is a planner lookbook series, which essentially is all of the videos that I do around the 2026 or the upcoming year's planner season. So I try to get my hands on as many planners as possible, and I do flip throughs here on my channel, saving them all to one playlist so that you can go to that playlist, go through it like a lookbook, and hopefully find a planner that works for you for the new year. Some of these planners I purchase, some of them are sent to me, and I will give full disclosure, whatever the case may be there. I also try to remove biases, but I think that's impossible. And I will share the things I like and don't like about the planner that I am reviewing. And I know full well that something that I don't like, you might love, and something that you love, I might not. Wait, did I just say the same situation twice? You know what I mean. The point is to share it all, and then you decide if it is something that works for you. I don't know your life. You don't, well, you know a little bit of mine if you've been around for a while. But my point is to just to share all of the details, and then you know, if it's a no for you, swipe on by and watch the next video. If it's not for you, swipe on my hope is that these videos help bridge the gap between a brick and mortar and an online store. Obviously, a lot of these planners are available exclusively online, and you don't know what they look like really like in somebody's hands unless you come to YouTube. And so I am hopefully a resource for you to help you save some money, spend some money, like whatever you need. That is what I'm here for. So I will leave my playlist down in the description box, and you can also look at previous year's playlists if you want to see what other planners I've shown in the past. But this is one of my early in the year planners. So if you don't see many in the playlist, just stay tuned. So today we're talking about planner envy, and I've had quite a few requests for people wanting me to review planner envy. Now, this is the first time ever I've seen a planner envy planner, so we're gonna go through the details together. First of all, packaging is really nice. This was shipped in a box in a box, and even the box feels like soft touch. So you can tell like they've done a really good job with the packaging. It feels incredibly heavy. So this is probably a behemoth. And then they threw in some freebie stickers, which I think was genius, because one of the things I noticed about Planner Envy is they also have kit subscriptions, like sticker kits. And these stickers are going to perfectly match or fit into their planners. So I can feel, because of these samples, I can feel the material. And let's see, it matches our September 2025. So, and this also matches September 2025. So these are samples of the designs in the September kit. And then these are samples from the October. And they feel like vinyl stickers, but I don't think that they are. They've got a little bit of slip to them, but they're still matte. And those are quite cute. So if you are looking for a situation where you can get a planner and kits that perfectly match the planner, you can do it all with Planner Envy. I grabbed some, took some notes here. I want to make sure I don't miss anything, because I did do something a little bit different with this order. So first of all, I did purchase this on my own. As I like to say over on Instagram, this is for science. So sometimes I will purchase things just for the sake of reviewing them, and this is one of those items. So here is my planner. She is chunky. Again, the packaging is really nice. And right now, hold on, let me take this out without getting the noise right in the camera. If I can figure out how to open it. I opted to purchase an Undated planner for this review. And I did that because I'm going to be getting a lot of planners this season. And if possible, if there's a new option, a new planner for the new year, that is undated or is in a layout that you can get in a 2026 planner, I'm going to go with the Undated, just because I don't know, I might punt it to another season, or I don't know, might want to use it yet next year. I don't know. So let's talk about this. So the 2026 planners from Planner Envy are currently pre-order, and the Undated was 18% off. So right now, as of the filming of this, the Undated was on sale, and then the 2025 planners were discounted. So I opted for the Undated signature layout. I picked the signature layout over the other two because I've never seen a planner quite like it. And I figured if that's the case, then you probably haven't either. So know that the signature layout we're going to flip through, although Undated, is the signature layout that will be in the 2026 planner. Okay, that's why I'm including this in the planner lookbook series. Couple things to note about the exterior. This has a soft touch feel to it. So if you like that, you're going to love this cover. Some people have sensory issues with it, I just found out. I don't. I think it feels delicious. So soft touch velvet laminate front cover. And they offer both a coil or spiral planner and disc bound. So if you are a disc bound person, you can get this in a disc bound version. So disc bound and coil for this. There were, I think, 9 different cover designs for the 2026 planners. Full disclosure, my personal design or like aesthetic, even though there were 9 designs, I had a hard time finding one that I could be married to for a year. Again, personal preference, but I do think 9 covers is very nice. So check it out, see if there is a cover that you really like. Of all of the planner covers, the dated and undated, this was the one that I liked the most. So that was another reason why I opted for the undated version. So we have a rose gold coil and that soft touch cover. If you get the disc bound version, it's going to be rose gold metal discs for the disc bound version. The size of this planner is really interesting. If you go back and look at the clearance planners from 2025, there were 2 different sizes. There was this size, which is 8.75 by 10.25, okay? And if you look, what was I saying? Sorry, my phone was ringing. This size is considered the large, 8.75, 10.25. The 2025 planners came in a mini size, and that mini size was much more similar to a Happy Planner Classic. I don't remember the dimensions off the top of my head, but it was kind of in that 7 by 9 type range. For 2026, that mini size is gone from what I could tell. So the only size you can get in this planner, you can choose the spiral or the discs, are going to be 8.75 by 10.25. I think that's an interesting choice. I don't know if they went with that because the smaller size wasn't selling well. I find that interesting because it was a more standard size, I think. And so it's interesting that they're opting for a larger planner rather than something a little bit more standard size. So I guess that would be something to consider. This is going to be it's going to feel significantly larger if you're like a Happy Planner Classic person or you're an Erin Condren 7 by 9. This feels bigger because it's 8.75 by 10.25. Okay, so we're going to go ahead and open it up. And I love that the rose gold foiling is going to repeat. So you've got the coil and then that front cover, planner and Planner Envy down at the bottom. Absolutely nothing on the back. I'd love to see Planner Envy on the back. I don't mind branding on my planner. I just don't need to see it every day. So I think the back would have been a better spot. Personal opinion though. Okay, so we got the undated. So yeah, we're gonna have to do some dating here. The inside cover is going to have a pocket. Always love a pocket. I think that's handy. And it looks like we're gonna get that in the back as well. So the inside pocket on the front and the back is for spiral only. So the disc bound will not have spiral covers. Paper, oh my goodness. Oh, I think I know why people wanted me to try this. This paper feels a lot like Erin Condren paper. It is definitely a soft off-white color. It is 101 pounds thickness, and it has the toothiness of Erin Condren. Like, I would say of all the planners I've tried over the years, this is the closest I have felt to Erin Condren paper as far as like the toothiness. And even the color. I wonder if I have an Erin Condren planner nearby that I could grab. It feels, yeah, very similar. You know, I might. Let me go ahead and grab this. Grab this. Oh, actually, this is a good comparison. This is a 7x9, right? Dashboard planner from, Erin Condren. That can't be. This has to be an A5. No, maybe not. But look at that size difference. Now, paper color, very similar. Thickness. I don't know off the top of my head what the thickness is of Erin Condren, but color and weight feel very, very similar. So I'll go ahead and say it. If you are super partial to Erin Condren paper, I think that this would be an easy transition away from Erin Condren. Okay, any other details? Let's see. So there are 3 weekly layout options. There's going to be a horizontal, a vertical, and a signature. The signature, I think, by far is the most interesting, which is why I got it. And you're going to get a bunch of intro pages up at the front. So let's take a look. This first set is, well, we've got 12 blocks here, so 12 months, I would guess. And I did see a sample of what this looks like in the dated version, and I loved the way the dated version looked. So if you're looking at a 2026 planner, you're going to have these 6 blocks per side. They're going to be lifted up higher on the page, and then running along the bottom, you're going to have mini calendars January through December. So mini calendars all the way across. They don't line up in any way to the boxes themselves, but it's so you can see the full year at a glance, and then you have the 6 blocks up above. I really like that design. It's makes me sad that this is undated because I wish I could show that to you, but trust me, very cool. The layout. It's just a different way to do a year at a glance. And I would say that these pages are very similar to the intro pages here, which I might not be able to show you actually from the life planner. Do you guys know which ones? Yeah, these ones. Similar. Big difference here, of course, you don't have any quote, which I appreciate. I don't necessarily need that up at the top. And the Erin Condren has lines. This does not have lines. So you might want to draw in lines, or you could just, like, if you didn't have a use for this, you could make a little scene for each month and just have a fun, like, creative play moment decorating one box for each month because there's no structure to it. So however you want to use this is entirely up to you. Now, this is where the planner gets really interesting for me because it feels like Erin Condren paper and stuff, but it almost has a little bit of like whimsy and like Bujo vibes to it in the playfulness of the font choices. So we go from our kind of year at a glance, which looks a little off because it's undated. And then we go to the bucket list. So you've got one big bucket list item here. You've got 7 places to go, to try, to work on, to experience, and then a box for next year. And even though the font is whimsical, I kind of love that it still looks incredibly neutral. So you can decorate this however you want. You could stamp in this. Absolutely, actually, I think that this would hold up to stamps for sure. I do not think this would be good for fountain pen ink. I think that it would just suck into the paper and feather out. So I would probably stick to, gel pens probably. And, maybe with stamping, you'd get a little bit of feathering with that too. I don't know, but I like that it's neutral so that you could play if you want to. So we have a bucket list page. We've got books and movies. So how I rate my books and movies. So title rating. 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23. So we've got 46 books or movies that you can write down. Maybe just add the date, like when you watched it or when you read it, title and rating. Then we have important contacts and passwords. I wish that planner folks would not put password, use such like a premium real estate page at the beginning of the planner for passwords. I just feel like we could have done something else here. But for those of you that like that, you do have a space for both your contacts and your passwords. This is the kind of information, if you're going to include it in a planner, which I go so on this, put it in the back. Put it in the back with like extra note pages. Give us more kind of year at a glance stuff up at the front. But here it is, important contacts. Again, I like the mix of fonts. It's playful, but it's not like tacky or overly colorful. Everything is very neutral. Then we have the front pages separated with dot grid and then a monthly dashboard. The dot grid is very wide for me, but I think that's probably because of the size of the planner. So it's commensurate with the size of the planner. It's just a lot. I'd love to see this a little bit lighter ink wise, just a little bit more like light gray so they don't pop as much. But I do love dot grid, graph grid. I love these types of pages separating my sections. So here we have our monthly dashboard. I'm presuming that in the dated version, we're going to have the month up at the top. This just says this month, which I'm happy with because I can use fancy stickers or something to add the month that I'm starting in. And pretty sectioned out. I think some people will love the prompts so they know how to use each section. So we have priorities, goals, important, dates and birthdays, and notes. I think that's all right. I probably would prefer something a little bit more neutral so I can decide how much space I want for each of these. But, you know, if you have more priorities than this, you can turn this into priorities. You can turn this into priorities. You've got a little box here, which could be more priorities. So you can play with the boxes that aren't titled, but it is pretty structured for me. And that could be a good thing for some. And I'm personally so on it. Now, these tabs are not labeled. And did we see any stickers? No, I'm actually really surprised that, I don't know if this is a mistake. I might reach out to them, but usually if you're buying an undated planner, you would be given the labels for your tabs. I don't see any. So that means I'm gonna have to make my own labels with a label maker or with a sticker, or I guess because it's got a little bit of a slip to it, you could use an oil-based pen. So dashboard, and then here is our monthly. Pretty simple and yet very structured, which I think is helpful for folks that want that structure. Where it says month is likely where you're going to have it pre-printed for the month. Again, this is undated. So this is a Sunday start, but I could easily, if I wanted it be a Monday start, I could easily cover up the headers here. We have a generous to-do list here, open box up here, and lines. Again, I will link this planner in the dated version down in the description box because we're going to want to see what is in these boxes, if anything. I'm thinking that there might be the month at a glance, the upcoming month at a glance in this box right here. And then we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I prefer a 6-week month. I don't know why. I just like feeling like I've got room to breathe, but we have a 5-row month here. Then before we even get to the weeklies, we have monthly like goal setting and planning. And I think this is great for someone looking for an all-in-one. If you do not want an all-in-one and you are doing different things with your plan, you have multiple planners for different things, this is going to be too much for you. And you might want to go with a planner that is smaller. It's not going to be as heavy and it's not going to have all of the extras, but some people like one planner to rule them all. And this could be it if it's what you're looking for, because you have a full page for the month for self-care and health. So you've got a goal for the month, relaxation, happiness, and relationships. We've got a tracker for how you're feeling. We've got all kinds of different feelings here: happy, grumpy, sad, nervous, content, excited, anxious, calm, bored, neutral, angry, sick, tired, stressed, energized, depressed, annoyed, productive, frustrated, overjoyed. You just pick a bunch of colors, pen colors, and highlight what each one will represent. And then each day you color in with the color that corresponds with the feeling. This gives me daily grind vibes in some ways, because one of the things with the daily grind planner why I haven't been a huge fan of it is super structured. And some people really like that, and I get that it can be a game changer. But sometimes it's overwhelming for me. And this plays the field a little bit. We've got kind of some open-endedness, but we also have the structure and the tracking. So here we've got 2 trackers, full monthly trackers for exercise and fitness and healthy habits. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 5 different things you can track for exercise and fitness. 5 different things that you can track for healthy habits. And then we have an open box and some dot grid. Let me just sneak a peek. This is my first time flipping through this, so we're going to figure this out together. Okay, so these are the only intro pages. I will say it is nice to have a monthly dashboard that is its own thing, separate from trackers. I think that is very nice. But again, this is a hefty planner, friends. Healthy habits. I like that that's generic enough, because it could be spiritual disciplines. It could be showering. I know if you're a mom, sometimes it's so hard to schedule a dentist appointment or whatever. It's so hard to do the regular things like laundry. Laundry could be a healthy habit, guys. So you could kind of morph this to be family and life tracking things as well, because it's a lot to track if it's just exercise, fitness, and healthy habits. And that's not something I would want to track over here. So I think this can be held with an open hand. And there are a lot of monthly things you could track, like the last time you vacuumed or something. Like you could do cleaning or laundry, shampoo, I don't know what a face mask or whatever. I guess that would be a healthy habit. But I can see it being very easy to cover up these headers as well. So I like this, and I really like tracking things as well. So I could see this being helpful. Then we have budget and finances. I like having a separate place for tracking budget stuff, but we've got an income spot, source, your amount and date, checking and savings at the start of the month and at the end of the month, a goal this month, financial goal for the month, bills due, and then savings tracker, things you're saving for, and upcoming large expenses. So this is not meant to be an actual transactions tracker of all of your purchases. It's meant to be the big picture, your money coming in and your primary bills going out. So that makes sense for me. But I think most people that are budget people are going to want something that has a little bit more detail. If you're looking for little kisses of finance or to get into tracking things a little bit better, I think this is a very unintimidating way to get into tracking. So I could go either way with that. Okay, so this is the signature. Hold on, let me take a sip. Today we're drinking Coke Zero. The signature layout. The signature layout was the most interesting to me because it kind of hit the plum paper quad, the compact vertical meets a vertical, meets a horizontal, it meets a dashboard. It kind of hit everything all at once. And that's what I thought was really unique. I have never seen a planner layout like this. Please correct me if I'm wrong. If you have seen this layout before, leave a comment with who did it, because I have not seen anything like this. We have basically vertical days of the week, but it's set up like a quad in that they're more fat and short, right? They don't span the length of the day. And each day is split vertically. So it's almost like a quad meets a vertical. And you also have a little dashboard for the week and additional notes and a spot for next week. So Monday, let's just look at Monday first. So we have our vertical lines, and then we have a to-do list. Lines, to-do list, lines, to-do list. We have that Monday through Sunday, but with the Undated, like I said, if you're a Sunday start person, you can go ahead and change that. Now let me see if I can find, so all of the layouts will have the 2-page weekly, the dashboard to start each month, the 2-page monthly, the finance and self-care pages, lined pages at the end of the month. We're not there yet. Let's see. I'm not seeing anything else about this. So I'm guessing that they're all going to be Monday start, which I will say, not looking at the 2026, I wish it said if they were all Monday start or Sunday start. I'll have to fact check myself and leave a comment or update the description. Always check the description box. I will leave links to products. I will leave affiliate links, discount codes. And then if I need to correct myself in the video, I'm going to leave it in the description box. So please like expand that so you can see it. But I am a big fan of a Sunday start monthly and a Monday start weekly. So I'm not mad at the way that this is set up. I am curious about whether the 2026 planner is going to be Monday, Sunday, or if it's going to be split the way this Undated one is. I like it split personally. But again, you can change it if you want to. These are very easy to redate. Let's take a look at the weekly dashboard. So you're gonna have the month up at the top. Then this week, you have a week at a glance, Monday through Sunday. I love weeks at a glance. I love small places that replicate Monday through Sunday because I do tracking there. I do meal planning there. If there's, my content calendar, like if I want to put my YouTube schedule, like I like having at a glance a little space where I can log things every day, but it be all together with the week. So love having this. So you could do meal plans. Like I said, you could do your step tracker. You could do your fitness watch stuff. You could do maybe your kids' calendar up here. If they've got some after school activities or daycare schedule, you could do that. Your spouse's schedule, you could put there. Got an open box here. Tracker, additional tracker. That's nice. Monday through Sunday. This is pieced together really nicely. Doesn't take too much space, which is quite nice. And then you have additional lines down here. This is actually split. So we've got an open space here to create your header. And then there's an extra space here for a header here. So if you wanted something separate from this section, you could do that. And then over on the right margin, we have a notes section and then things to plan for next week. What do you guys think about this layout? It's interesting, right? Do you see what I'm talking about? Where it's like kind of a quad, compact vertical, kind of a vertical. I could go either way when it comes to this layout. The structure is kind of nice, having your to-dos separate from this. You could probably like journal or do like gratitude writing here and then this be your to-dos. Because you've got an open space underneath the to-do section, you could create more structure however you want. If you wanted to stamp some little icons, let's say you've got like meetings this week, you could do meetings. You could create whatever subcategory you want here for this bottom section. I think this would be a really great all-in-one planner. The fact that they have the health and wellness and the tracking and the finance stuff, and then you could write your scripture of the day here. If you like do daily scripture writing or prayers, journaling, gratitude, and then you've got space for your functional. And because this planner is so large at that 8.75 by 10.25, this doesn't feel small. This doesn't feel like cramped writing, in my opinion. So I think in looking at online the 3 different weekly layouts, this is the one that I think is the most interesting and compelling. And then when you combine it with the paper that feels like Erin Condren paper, it's I think it could be a real contender for folks. And the fact that they have a disbound option. If you're a disbound person, this could be really, really nice. So at the end of the month, we go into lined pages. I like the spacing on the lines. Looks nice and spacious, but not too like blown out. So we've got 2 full lined pages, your dot grid, and then you get into the next month. I think that's nice. It is a hefty planner though. So if you're used to like a half letter or the Happy Planner or smaller, this could be a lot for you. It could be overwhelming. But if you are someone that leaves your planner on your desk, open on your desk or at your dining table, this might not seem like that big of a deal. Or if you're an 8.5 by 11 person, this is not going to feel, it's not going to feel too big. But even the coil seems pretty thick. So you've got a lot of pages on here. A lot of pages. So our last weekly goes into our lines, and then let's see what we have. More lines. 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 Doodles and ideas. That's fun. 1, 2, 3. This is blank. 4, 5, 6 sides of blank paper. And this feels, I mean, this is thick. 101 pound thick quality paper in soft off-white. Yeah, I mean, this paper feels real thick. Actually, now that I'm seeing it in blank, it's definitely different than, hold on, let me grab this again. It's different than the Erin Condren paper. Might be a little bit thicker. Yeah, they are so similar, actually. They really are. But I do think the Planner Envy paper is thicker. And then, of course, at the back, we have our pocket, which we already talked about. So you are going to get 220 total pages. Plenty of line pages, I think, given how much space we have. Plenty of extra notes pages. And, of course, having 2 line pages and dot grid at the end of every month is really, really nice. That's the Planner Envy signature planner. I would definitely do as advised here to head over to their Instagram account, Planner Envy. I'm not an affiliate for them. I don't make commission off of them. I have nothing to gain from sharing this with you other than to help you decide if this is the planner for you in 2026. Like I said, this is Undated. The 2026 planners are in pre-order right now. Price-wise, I want to say this was like a $60 planner, which is, at this point with the planners I have been shopping and looking at, pretty on par. It's so interesting. I've spent years sharing flip-throughs of Happy Planner planners, and I do have a Happy Planner custom planner video coming up to my channel soon. But when you start comparing Happy Planner prices to other planner prices, you realize how low cost, or how I don't want to say affordable because everyone's budget is different, but Happy Planner really is in a lower price point compared to some of these other planners. And so I definitely want to encourage you to not go into debt over planners. Pick the planner that meets your budget and your needs, because your needs are also your budget. And just keep that in mind that some of the planners I show this fall are going to be more expensive. I think that for this price range being so similar to Erin Condren, the paper wise, it would make sense that this would be similar in price to an Erin Condren planner. So I think I'm trying to shift my expectations of like, well, that's really expensive, and realize, well, that's probably industry standard for a planner of this size and this type of paper. So if you have any questions about Planner Envy, go ahead and leave them down below. I'm not an expert. This is literally the first Planner Envy planner I've ever looked at. There are so many other ones to look at on the website. The 2 other layouts are horizontal and vertical, but they are different than the horizontal that you might be used to and the vertical that you might be used to, because they're all going to have the Planner Envy vibes. So the styles are going to be a little bit different, but there's the horizontal, the vertical, and the signature. All of them are going to have the 2-page weekly spread. They're all going to be in the 8.75 by 10.25 inch page size, which is pretty hefty. And the spiral option and discount option you can choose from. So I think that's it, friends. This is my first review of a Planner Envy planner, and I could see this being a really good mom planner. a really good catch-all family planner. So curious if you end up picking one of these up, let me know. Come hang out with me on Instagram. My handle is The Joyful Sojourn. And if you want to hang out with me again, you want to see more planner reviews on my channel this fall, then make sure you are subscribed to my channel and follow along my planner lookbook series playlist. Until next time, friends, God bless you. God bless you and keep you. Do something creative today, and I will see you in my next video. Bye.